People, Deluded, thank you very much for tuning in again and again, people. It means a lot. Now, Kolašinac, Kola as I like to refer to him on a regular basis as a bit of a love-hate relationship. Of course, I don't hate him as a man, I don't hate him as a player. It's just a saying, people. Please don't get hung up on words, be sensible. But I like him. First and foremost, I like, regardless of how much at times him, the likes of Xhaka at times can frustrate me. What I do like about them sort of players, specific to Kola, he's not on really getting roughed up, man, by other people, and he's a bit of a, not a bully, but you get it, people. That was a madness. I got scared for a minute of that Thunder people, but sorry, break back into character now. I like that about him. Going forward, he's quite good going forward. Final third, sometimes at times he overhits and underhits and his delivery isn't quite there, but I think he's quite good in the final third. He doesn't play. That's why you should never judge a book by its cover, because if you was to look at him first time, and ironically a bit of it's true, you would think incredible Hulk smash, fouling, bodying guys just moving mad. You wouldn't think that, but his technical ability is quite surprising. Like, I've seen a man do a roulette and stuff. Final third, I like him, people. Defensively is where the issues is, people, and that's, I know the modern game, fullbacks are wingers nowadays and they make the difference. Look at Trent and Robertson, but first and foremost, certain things don't change. You've got to be able to defend. Sometimes he's done well defensively, but more often than not, he's switched off, he's been caught flat-footed, he's either covering or he's not stopped the cross. Sometimes he's even in the opposition's half and he's not tracking back. He leaves a lot of space and teams exploit that. I love the guy, really. I like him as a player. I think he could be a good second choice fullback and used in the squad, but defensively he is a liability. Again, regardless of what you think about the players, but I love Arsenal Football Club and I love our team, but I would know how to kind of play us if I was in opposition. Beyond the obvious of pressing us and stuff like that and putting crosses into the box, specifically, if you can overrun Xhaka and kind of stop his options, you've kind of killed Arsenal or what Arsenal tried to implement. And if you take advantage of the gaps that Kola leaves, whether Arsenal play 4 at the back or 3 where they drag Monreal out there, you've got some problems. You can cause them problems because, again, you want to capitalize on, for instance, Kola goes, he leaves space. Koscielny's playing. I love Koscielny, but he's not what he used to be. He gets dragged into the flanks, as you've seen at times, people. And he's obviously, Koscielny's lost his legs or sorts, as decent as he's shown this season. He don't want to be out there in foot races. So, yeah, first and foremost, man them have to be able to defend, really. And I think this season, he's been here for 2 years, forgive me if I'm wrong now. Realistically, he's going to be here this year. And I think this year, I need to see him improve defensively. I need to see it. Like, the eyes are really going to be on it. This is his, for me, the last sort of season I'm going to give from him as a fan. And apologies, people, and my humble opinion. Because like I said, I like Kola, man. I think second choice. I've said it since he's been here. I think right now he's a second choice defender. You can use him in the squad. For instance, I feel we could generally set up a bit better and a bit more attacking intent against the smaller teams. But I think based on how Arsenal should be playing or could be, you can get away with Kola in games against smaller teams where you're expected to go forward. And again, he's actually done well in some big games. But more often than not, he switches off. And this isn't me being rude or anything like that. This is just me looking at his performance. Like I said, I like him, but the eyes are on him. You know me, I never like to talk about finances and that, but he gave me on a free transfer. He signed 100 bags a week, and to be honest, he's quite inconsistent. So you have to look at it. Are we wasting money on the sense that he's on good, decent wages? Obviously not in today's market. Lingard's allegedly in talks for about 150k. That's a bit mad. But for him, Kola, that's a mad sort of wage. Really and truly, many people wouldn't expect him to be on that. So we'll be looking at that. Is that resources wasted? I think he's a relatively a big part in what the coach Unai Emery likes to do, in that he wants to pick him on the left hand side and he wants his fullbacks to be a big part into how he likes to implement football. But like I said, he's got to improve. I really want a centre half and a left back. Realistically, centre half at best. I'd say a winger on the basis we linked with Carrasco and it looks to be happening. I don't think a left back is happening, people. Right now, next season, again, I hope a left back comes in. This isn't a criticism. I just want the best for my team. But it's going to be Monreal, unless Monreal's situation needs to be dealt with itself. But it's going to be on paper right now, Monreal and Kola again. Maitland-Niles again, because people remember he's done his little shift at right back, but I swear at Arsenal there was a point he was filling in that left back. I don't know, I think it was under Arsene Wenger. So that's the sort of options we're dealing with at this moment in time, at least until probably João Lopez or one of the young players comes of age, or again I hope a player comes in. But I like Kola, but personally I feel the eyes I will have the eyes on him, people. If I'm completely honest with you, man. This season I've got to see a lot. We've got to improve defensively as a whole team, but it starts with the defense. I feel we've brought in Leno. I said again, people. I've said it myself. I want a centre half and I want a left back. I like Holding and I like Socrates. I just feel we need another centre half, but I would like a left back. Whenever I say this, I leave the left back position blank. Realistically, Cole is going to be there. I believe we've brought in Leno. Regardless of what people say, I think he's grown into himself in the second half of the season. If you brought a keeper in here to be the long term, the least you can do is give him a competent back four to allow him to be part of that defensive unit to work forward with. Because I feel Leno at times he's done some booky stuff and he could have done better, people, in several incidences. But I feel more often than not, he's made some good saves and done some good things. And defensively, we've let him down via the numerous errors that we can sit here and speak about, people. So I feel if you can give him something to work with, realistically, Socrates is going to be here this season. And I think he's 31 now, he's getting on. I think this, based on how he's played this year, can move forward with him. Holding is in the first team for me the minute this guy becomes fit again. For me, again, Holding is still learning. He's a bit naive defensively. But for me, you play a man. He can't get better until he plays. And Holding, I really like Holding in it. I think he can get in the England squad if he plays well and does his thing. So it'd be Holding and Socrates. Again, I would love a quality centre-halves to come in. And these sort of three give us decent options to move forward with. Right back, Bellerin to come back from his injury when he comes back. We're a bit light for options there, but when he comes back, and then obviously I would love a top left back or a competent left back, someone good going forward and does what Kohler does and does what the modern day fullback does. They have to be able to be competent in the final third, but at the same time, for me, humbly, people, switched on defensively, because we need to go back to basics. The defence, back five including the keeper, if we do not get that spot on in terms of learning to keep clean sheets and the many aspects of defending, we will not better what's happened this season, people. We will not. Defence wins titles. The individuals and the attacking brilliance wins you them crucial games, but defence wins you titles. There's 38 Premier League games. There's no good, as much as I love my club, we've only shown on several handful of occasions that we can defend well and for sustained periods, and they're often than not the Chelseas, where last season we was good against Chelsea. Shout out to Emery for setting us up in the big games and a couple of the big games. But they're a handful. There's 38 Premier League games. It's about doing it against the Wolves away, the Watfords away, the Leicesters away, the Old Traffords, where we could have, again, I felt sorry for Emery because he set us up perfectly. Old Trafford away, we could have got the result, but the players let themselves down, not switching on defensively. You don't believe me? Go and watch the highlights of the game. In fact, go and watch the second half, man. Go and watch the second half, because I remember Lingard's goal. Straight after we scored, Lingard scored, and it's a mad series of errors. To be fair, I've been bigging up Leno, but I even think he was involved in a couple that day, to be fair. And again, we weren't tracking midfield runners. So until we can get the foundation in track, then we can forget about top four and all of these things. I love my club and I love you guys, so I'll tell you the truth. You don't know me, forgive me if I sound pessimistic or negative. I'm trying to sound just what I honestly believe, people, because if the sun is not shining, ironically it's raining. It's raining and there's storms and that. I'm not going to tell you it's sunny, it's Jamaica weather, it's the weather that they got in Ochi Rios at this moment in time. I'm not going to lie to you lot. We've got, on one hand, we've got stuff to move forward with, because if we look at the facts, we finished a point behind getting top four and we got to a Europa League final with a new manager. There's something to move forward with. But on the other hand, there's always two hands, people. On the other hand, many, myself to a degree, will say, realistically, Arsenal and Chelsea, you're expected to get to the Europa League final. No disrespect to the other oppositions within that tournament. And many will say, considering the position we found ourselves in, I didn't believe, and no one believed we'd get at the start of the year, but considering the position we found ourselves in regards to potentially getting top four, we only have ourselves to blame, and it is severe bottling. So there's two sides, man. We've got something to work with, but at the same time, it is again a case of being so close but so far. We still have to work on stuff. For instance, go and look at any of the highlights with goals we've scored, we've conceded, people. And more often than not, we're conceding goals within 10, 20-minute passages. We've conceded one and then we're conceding another. We need to get over that mental block, and we need to be a bit more braver in that. If we go down and we concede a goal, players say to themselves, okay, lads, it's not the end of the world. Let's calm down. Midfielders, I know you lot like to do creative stuff, but for right now, let's just sit two backs of four, soak up the pressure of the other team and move forward with things like that. It's about that competency. Equally in an attacking sense, which I don't see at times all the time. Players are trying one thing and no one's kind of thinking to themselves, this thing isn't really working nowadays. This isn't working right now. Let me go and do something else. Again, I'm not saying don't listen to your manager, but if you look at players back then, I say 10 years ago like it was '08, but if you go back to '04 and around that period, the older heads will know. Players were, in my opinion, better active thinkers. Again, I'm not saying the players aren't intelligent, but I feel a big reason we praise the like of the Una Emre and Pep and Poch and Klopp for all the jumping around and the antics on the touchline is because players don't have to think. And a bit of that is because player power. If a player gets a hairdresser nowadays, he's on the phone to his agent. So them days are gone. So I don't really think there's generally in football accountability in your own performance as an individual, as a player, to a degree, people. So until we do certain things and improve in certain aspects, I can't be extremely optimistic. I'm always optimistic, people. You lot know me. I'm a big Arsene Wenger fan. Ironically, I could be deluded. I like to dream. Why can't I dream of Arsenal one day potentially winning Champions League? Or why couldn't a Spurs fan dream of winning the league? Of course, that's dreaming a bit too much. I had to get you Spurs fans. But football fans should be able to dream. I dream. I want to do football. My football team do the madness and be spoken like how Liverpool and City was being spoken about right now. But at the same time, I believe in dealing with reality. I believe in, and I know football, our emotions are on the line, and people, it hurts a lot of people because they're so emotionally invested. They don't want to say the truth, and it's the hardest thing. I feel guilty of it at times as well. Say the truth and say what it is. Look at things for what it is, because it pained every fan to look at Arsenal right now and look at we're not the mad club, and it would hurt any fan. We're not the club. We're not big Arsenal, real Gunners. Come on, we're called the Gunners for God's sake. We're not that right now. But when you look at it, there's reasons to be optimistic, but there's reasons to think, I need to see certain things. Football is a mad game, and like I said on the topic of it being emotionally invested, it's a drug, people. Because I pay my money to go watch Arsenal when I can, and there's season tickets, but no one tells us to pay our money. People, does it make sense? On one hand, how can I get mad at Arsenal for not playing well and I've spent money on it? When who told me to do that? But on the other hand, you don't know football is like a drug, people. You can't say no to it. If you have the means, you go and watch Arsenal. And if you can't watch them live in the flesh, you're dedicating your day. If you have to work the day of the Arsenal's playing, you're watching it on your phone or something, or on the train, or you're watching it where you can. You follow the team religiously. With me and you, people, everybody watching this, Arsenal not even playing for how long? How many months, weeks we ain't playing? Well, not months, but we ain't playing for a couple of weeks. We're here still talking about Arsenal. Many of you are still talking about the final, myself included. So we love football. But I think you just have fans, we have to look at things sometimes for what it is, people. You have to look at, a lot of things have to be looked at for what they honestly are, people. And I've kind of gone off topic now, but yeah, man, people, let me get out of here now. I want to eat my dinner. But on that note, people, of course, thank you for watching and tuning in. DG, I'm out.